Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tactical Wisdom. Today, we're going to go over another great video out of the Ukraine. We're going to discuss a patrol that happened. Let me set the scene, and we're going to introduce our guests here in just a second. But this patrol was out trying to make contact with the Russians, so it might make you wonder why they did some of the things they did. But they knew there were Russians in the area. They were moving along there in the Bakhmut area, trying to find a Russian trench line. When they found it, we're going to go over. Go ahead.
No, I think somebody just hadn't muted their video yet, Joe. That's all.
I got you. All right. So, and then they found Russians, and it got a little bit interesting. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe. I'm the author of the Tactical Wisdom series. United States Marine Corps veteran, served in the late '80s and the '90s in the Marine Corps, and then after that, I served in the private military contracting and security world as a protector of people, places, and things. Driving down dusty roads and keeping people in the cars and keeping other people out of the cars. Kind of how things work. And I've been doing that ever since, and it's kind of my role now. If you haven't, head over to tactical-wisdom.com. Check out my book series. Great Christmas presents. Teach people how to be a little more prepared. I'm joined by Watcher. Go right ahead, Watcher. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. I'm the Watcher on the web. Was in the Marine Corps during the late aughts, I guess is what you call it. And then into the new 20. Got out around 2012. I was chiefly I did marksmanship instruction, that included primary marksmanship instruction, combat marksmanship instruction, and then I also got to go do a bunch of playing around as a coyote out in Mojave Viper out in 29 Palms. So yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Stuff. Any of you who have ever been to 29 Palms, you will learn that there are not 29 trees of any kind, let alone palm trees, on 29 Palms.
Correct.
But there are a lot of weird turtles, which is a whole different story. Next up, we have John. John, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I own UW Gear. I'm a small gear maker for the Armed Prepared Citizen. My YouTube channel is Alpha Charlie Concepts. I was in the Army National Guard in the early 90s. Didn't really do anything high-speed low drag because I was in that lucky time frame of just missed Desert Storm and just before everything else. So did get to do a few hurricane deployments and fun stuff like that, but nothing overly fancy.
All right. Well, welcome. Next up, we have new friends. Go right ahead, Noel, and introduce yourself. Tell everyone about yourself.
I'm Noel Bishop. Thanks for having me. I started out in the Army. I was a paratrooper in the 509 Parachute Infantry Regiment. Ranger qualified. I wasn't in a Ranger battalion. I was a Special Forces officer. I was in the National Guard 20th Group. Most of my time was staff stuff, so can't really say that I'm a real snake eater and stuff like that. Half of my time was active duty. The other time was Guard and Reserves. When I was in the Guard and Reserves, I also commanded a LURS company. It's the G Company, 143rd LURS. Then I went into kind of a pogue job with the 75th Division, where we trained division, brigade staffs rotating over and out of or over to Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm a retired DEA agent. I had my own business, Bishop 30 Solutions. We did firearms training, active shooter training for churches, businesses, planning, all that kind of stuff. So I retired from that. I work for American Contingency right now. I'm the national training coordinator.
So you're a member of Big Flannel. Okay, cool. No, I'm just messing with you.
I got one up.
Yeah, right on. See, proof. And then the ubiquitous, the ever smoking, and ever happy and not smiling very much, Don. We're all going to get cancer vicariously through Don. Welcome.
I am here for you. You are absolutely welcome for showing up. Happy to be here. For anybody who doesn't know me, and I can't imagine that's much, I'm just a fat farmer guy at this point.
Good cover.
We have to talk really loud to him because he was an artilleryman.
That is true.
Who once, he told the story recently, once had to defend that position from some tribesmen who decided, hey, they're over there. Let's go get them. So
Is true.
is true.
Mistakes were made, though. I promise you.
I'm going to tell you, my biggest mistake that was made was one day in December of 1989 in the far reaches of jungle in a little known country that has a canal through it. Someone said, "Hey, Marines, anybody here know how to ride a horse?" And like, dumb. I went ahead and raised my hand. So you don't want to ride burros, which is what I ended up on, through the jungle.
Hey,
it's
Joe.
not any fun. And there were angry Panamanians in said jungle. So good times.
Hey,
Good
Joe,
times.
I just realized you got to make me host.
I don't want to.
Oh, well then, you share the video then.
Okay. I got to remember how to even do that. So anyway, welcome everyone to the show. We're going to talk a little bit about another fun patrol. And here we go. Watcher, can you share me?
Yep, here we go, guys.
All right. This is going to be fun, guys. You're going to like this one.
Sure. Sound good to go. Oh,
All right, so
I pulled the video down.
As they begin this patrol, they have good dispersion. It's not in any sort of a formation, but they are moving along. But once again, they're moving right directly along a road. Watch what happens here. Go up to the part where the point man gets to the danger area. It's very long.
Let's see. I'm not sure how far ahead that is. I guess we can.
You would hold her right about probably about 15 seconds.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, let's pause right here. So, if you look, they're all spread out quite well. They've got good dispersion. They're more than 10 meters between each of them. That's a good thing. But if you notice, the point man is up there, and in front of him, there's a great big giant actual road. They're coming off of a side road right there in the middle of the screen, and there's a big actual road right down there. When we come up on that, we call that a linear danger area. And what you want to do is stop, get your team all up there, and observe it before stepping out. This guy doesn't do that. Anybody on the panel want to tell us why we stop before stepping out onto a linear danger area?
Bad
Could
guys.
it be because we already know there's a bunch of Russians over there somewhere?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Noah, what were you saying?
Bad guys can see a long way down a road.
Right. I mean, roads are just silly. And as I put in my my second book, Fieldcraft, you want to observe this not just for 10 seconds, not for 30 seconds. You want to spend 10 to 15 minutes observing it, because what if you look at it for about 3 minutes, you decide, okay, it's cool, and you step out and someone comes along that road? This is what will happen to you. Go ahead.
Well, if you're lucky, this is what'll happen to you.
Yeah.
So, hey, I don't know about anybody else, but I've already spotted a mistake. What do you do when you encounter a contact when you're on a patrol?
You stay silent and hope everybody notices.
Well, yeah, I mean that's yeah, that's the no. I think you
Maybe tell everyone?
You scream from the bottom of your soul, like so loud that it will rip vocal cords. Contact and then a direction.
So, in their defense, this guy is going to try that in a minute, but no one's listening because of all of the shooting that's going on. So,
What?
so
You mean gunfire's loud?
right? Well, what's funny is if you notice in this one, unlike the first video, everyone has dumped their packs, right? What that tells us is that these guys knew there was a pretty good chance for contact. None of them are wearing a ruck. They all downloaded their non-combat gear, their existence load, and they're in just a fighting load. So the reason why they would not pause before stepping out there is beyond me, and why they weren't actually ready for this contact. Now, they're going to do a good thing here. They're actually going to win the initial contact. When an ambush happens, you're on the receiving end. If you elect to receive, like these guys did, your immediate drill is to find the best cover available, immediately return fire, and get fire superiority. They do that, and the Russians stop firing. And then what? Go ahead and play it.
Oh. Hold on, chat. Did you? I didn't. See, I'm noticing things I didn't see the first time I watched this. Did you guys see the muzzle flashes? You can see two or three of them. They're actually fairly goddamn close.
Oh, and this guy to fire.
You can see something there where your pointer is. I mean, there's like a human being there that you can actually see firing. That the white man was going to walk right into about 100 yards to his left.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, and just to point.
Yeah.
Just a point to step back for a second. They note even in the closed caption that the point man goes to take a look to see if he can see anything. Just a point from the amateur side of the house. When you go to look to see if you can see anything in that situation, you don't do it by just stepping out into the road and looking.
No.
That's not how we take a look.
And while we're at that point in the video, I happen to notice that when the shooting happened, the guy just kind of stood there. I mean, anybody, so
that was that shock thing, right?
Get prepared for more of that. But
yeah, I was gonna say.
I noticed too. This guy is firing from the standing position, which is absolutely unheard of in a response to an ambush. Right? Yeah. If you stand up, you're probably going to die. All right.
Wait, was that Whimper his attempt to contact someone 20 yards away?
Yeah, he's trying to get a hold of. He's going to yell at him in a second.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'd like to pause and go back for a second. So if these guys are indeed, so he looks over and okay. There is a lull in the fight. You're heavy breathing because you're having your baby's first adrenaline dump. But you still don't take the opportunity to try and communicate with anyone.
So here's the thing. At this point, they won the fight, right? You heard the Russians stop firing. I think they're taking fire from two directions. You'll see them shoot rockets towards that second set of trees over there. Mm-hmm. But if you also notice right there, the guys who are up front and in the heaviest contact, not a single one of them is in the prone position.
Mm-mm.
No.
And I also want to point out that their kneeling position has only their rifle behind cover. The remainder of their body is exposed to the incoming fire because the trees aren't big enough for their buttocks. I'm just pointing out.
And look, it's hard to tell from a camera because it's a 2D image, right? And we trick ourselves into thinking that it's 3D, but it looks like there's even a depression here that they could be hiding.
I was just going to point out there's a lot of micro terrain. There's it looks like a log covered with grass in front of them. There's some roots behind them that have been turned up. There was a lot of good micro terrain here.
So there is mountains of it just everywhere. I mean, look, I'm not super excited to hide behind something that only covers this much of me, but it beats none.
And I know those brand new Ukrainian camo pattern uniforms look great.
Yeah, right.
Get them dirty.
Well, again, this is only 2D or whatever, but is it just me or is it one guy's immediately in front of the other as they are behind the trees?
So I think they're slightly staggered, but
there's no way the rear guy is in a position you want to be shooting.
No. At least not from this side of the tree that he's trying to shoot at from. You at least want to come around. I mean,
yeah.
Ooh.
Sad.
Okay. So at this point, this is where you are yelling and you are organizing your well, I mean, technically you'd be organizing a flanking action, but instead they do nothing.
Hold on. One more thing. He's going to try to shout over the sound of gunfire, and the heavy gun you can hear is either a Dushka or a KPV, but it's most likely a Dushka. John, you held up something a second ago that they clearly don't have. Could you hold it up again?
Oh
no.
Right?
$25 Amazon.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's not just about, having something to communicate back to your base on and tell them, hey, we're in contact. Can you send me some help? It's also intra-team. So all that gunfire is going on and all these noises are happening around you and there's bullets cracking over your head. If I've got a person talking directly into my ear, hey, contact is at 11 o'clock. I can hear that and I can actually react to it. And this would actually eliminate a lot of the confusion you see here. You see guys bumping into each other here in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go right on ahead.
Okay, now I want to point out, now that we've heard the heavy, at this point in your head, immediately, trees move from what? Trees move from cover to concealment the second you hear that heavy machine gun.
Yeah, because that machine gun will go through every single tree that is out there. There is not one tree there that is cover from a 12.7 or a 14.5 millimeter.
So,
not more than 2 rounds anyway.
Does anyone shift and take advantage of and adjust to this new reality?
No, not at all.
Well, that guy might have. The one who just ran in front of his friend in order to fuck off back into the trees. Yeah. That guy might have been, sort of.
So I am mostly watching this through YouTube replay because for whatever reason I'm only getting like 3 frames a second or something. But that guy who it ran in front of his friend back into the trees, his friend like right before he runs past him it looks like he's either doing some sort of reload or something, but it's right as he brings that rifle back into the fight, the dude's like, oh, hey, I'm going to just jump in front of you.
That happens a lot in this video.
It really does. Like,
and actually, watch closely. There's one reload. You're going to see a negligent discharge while he's changing the mag. So,
here, and remember that we have slow-mo available to us, so we're gonna half times this.
Yeah, we got plenty of time for that, so that's fine.
This guy, no! Oh, look, you can even see a muzzle flash right by the guy's ear as he runs past. That dude almost ate it. Watch.
Smoked by his own team.
Hold on, I'll even slow it down a little further. So 25%. Over here. Bam.
Yep.
Wow. So again, these guys not only are lucky the Russians didn't kill them, they are lucky they didn't kill each other. You'll see that happen several times in this video. And the chat's mentioning this, and this is actually a good point. There is a support element behind them. There is a second team. They don't get used until the other team runs into them practically. And not one person has thrown a grenade in the direction of contact. Now, when I went through training, throwing a grenade in the direction of the contact was the first thing you did. It's also what you did before you moved.
It's like a parade. You throw the candy to the children.
All right, spicy candy.
This is one of those simple things that you better be aware of what's going on around you with the rest of your team before you decide to make a move. Especially if you know you've got guys behind you. It's probably wise before you just jump up and run, maybe figure out where you're going first and make sure there ain't nobody between you and where you're going.
I just found Waldo.
Where did that dude come from?
Where did this dude come from, and how has he not been Swiss cheesed by every person on his team yet?
Because he's been doing this on that tree.
Yeah, the tree. So here's the other thing too. You see a lot of what we would call a rush in the military. It's supposed to be 3 to 5 seconds where you say, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. These guys have clearly never heard that in their life because they just literally look like the NPCs walking around in Call of Duty.
I know you know this is coming. And I was saving that particular criticism for the gaggle fuck that happens in about a minute.
Yes. Yes.
Like they create a smoke pit in the middle of fucking combat.
All right, let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Could he have found a thinner sapling to hide behind?
Well, he did. The one that your mouse was just on right there, right? Just to the right of the tree. He did skip that.
Yeah. Look, there's another one.
Can somebody tell me something though? Where's over there?
Exactly right. He does eventually say 11 o'clock, but over there doesn't get it. And when I was taught to give a fire command, hey you, that's not how you give a fire command. Alpha team, Bravo team.
It's worse than you think, because if you pay attention to the direction he's running at the time he says over there, he's not giving clock directions in the direction of the patrol. He's giving clock directions in the direction that he is standing.
It's not the direction everyone else is.
Look on the screen right now. Pay attention to it. You've got tree guy there, but if you look to the right of him, you'll see the point guy is just now starting to come back.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, maybe
and
I should.
Dude to the far right, he's fixing to run directly in front of his line of fire.
So I want to do a quick count here, a quick head count, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is anybody behind cameraman, or is this a 5-man fire team?
The guy
there's a second half of the
There's
squad.
a whole bunch of them behind him.
If you remember, the one guy already ran in front of him.
Yeah. So can we also just pause to say that everyone who has been in camera right now, except the point guy, is a giant buddy fucker? Because they were like, what we should do is retreat. Hell with that point guy.
Just leave him.
Good luck.
Mike.
And I'll be honest, until they decided to take a smoke break in the middle of combat, this guy, the cameraman, was actually doing a fairly good job, aside from not getting small and not getting prone. He was actually trying to direct what's going on. But I see no leader here trying to calm everyone down, calling for a halt, and saying, let's get organized here. They don't do that. This is why they're not making progress. Anyway, go ahead.
That was one of the first things I noticed. It's like there's a clear absence of at least a squad leader, because everybody behind the camera guy, and even some of the guys in front of the camera guy, start falling back before the very front guys are falling back, which leaves them strung out, and then you don't have effective suppressive covering fire for the guys that are still out front. They were like, screw you guys, we're out of here. And the lack of commands by the squad leader, at least, directing fire, calling out where enemy fire is at, something other than over there.
And the squad leader only has to talk to 2 people. That's 2 fire team leaders, so the fire teams move their fire teams, fire team leaders move their fire teams. So, but there wasn't even that.
Yeah. Nothing.
So,
Again,
radios would have helped.
Yep.
I don't understand why people can't get that about radios, especially when it comes to from armed citizen context. It's not always about trying to talk to people on the other side of the world. Radios can simply just be for you to communicate with your wife, kids, family, friends, team, whoever, locally, and you don't need to reach more than 100 yards to be able to do that.
So in all honesty, I talk about this all the time, and the sad hams come at me every single time. This is really the longest range you really need to be concerned with right now, right? 500 to 1,500 meters is about as far as you're ever going to communicate on a radio for most people involved in preparedness. You might need one ham qualified guy back at your base to talk to the patrols while they're out, or talk to other groups. But 99% of all posts, whatever communications, is this right here: squad level comms at less than 1,500 meters, and that $25 Baofeng is just fine for that.
So even what you said, just somebody back at your house, base, whatever. If we're in that kind of situation, again, context of armed citizens having to do this kind of stuff, you don't want to be that far away from your base anyway if you're on foot, because if you get into trouble, nobody's going to be able to get there. You can actually use those radios as a little bit of a leash like, don't get outside of radio range, because you get that far away, nobody can get to you to help you, if you need help.
Right.
And I think we could probably clearly agree that it would have been a vital piece of equipment for that point man to have was a radio. So he could at least call back and say, hey, you guys probably don't want to come up here. Got a lot
I
of
haven't
people.
heard anybody call for
Come on back,
binoculars this time, which is
So- for
Who
Joe's
brought the
sad
only
hams.
pair of binoculars? Who was it?
Go
For
ahead.
Joe's sad hams, the longest stretch of my property is about 500 meters from corner to corner. So I can stand on one corner of my property and talk to the other corner, which in my particular life is incredibly helpful because there's plenty of stuff in the way from one side to the other. And so shouting, and by the way, there's always a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So shouting is not a particularly viable option at that distance.
Right.
On the other hand, like, hey, is that going okay? Always works.
Right into the radio. All right, let's proceed. Now he calls contact.
Stop. We are stop. We are how far into this?
You don't say. Really? I had no idea we were in contact. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
He remembered.
Oh, it's that muscle memory kicking in from training, Joe. That's what that is.
Right.
It's those gunshots that reminded him. I mean,
Well, we thought it was just a thunderstorm coming in at first.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Where is the Nicolas Cage you didn't say me when you need it?
Right. And you know what, Watcher, you're right. That machine gunner on the tank is firing 3 to 5 round bursts.
It's odd, isn't it? It's really weird.
He
So
probably could have mowed him down if he didn't.
So I want to clarify to the chat why this is weird to me and why this really seriously stood out. Okay, most machine gunners, and I can't speak to Dishkas, right? Because most of the machine gunners I trained were either on the 240 Golf or they were on a Madu, or they were on a 50 caliber, right? So our machine gun cadence is you hold down the button for a good die motherfucker die, get some, and then you release, right? And that's a pretty decent number of rounds that go through there. It's actually more than you suspect it is. I don't know where Joe went. Joe, are you still here with your camera off? Oh, okay. Joe might have. Hopefully he pops back in. Anyhow, you spit a good number of rounds downrange when you do that. For some reason, this machine gunner is only taking little onesies and twosies and 3 round bursts. It's incredibly odd, and it's not.
Do you know why?
I would
I'll tell you
assume
why.
it's an untrained machine gunner.
No. I guarantee you it is a heavily trained but not very combat heavy machine gunner. Because if you are a machine gunner and you were doing a live combat style training course, you die motherfucker die, get some, release, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that should be 6 to 10
Mm-hmm.
is the general vicinity.
Roughly,
So
yeah.
for basically all American machine guns. On the other hand, when you are doing entry-level machine gunner training, you do 3 to 5 round bursts.
Because they don't want to waste the ammo on you yet.
And they don't expect you to be able to control the recoil. And so to get you used to the recoil, you do half bursts.
Gotcha. Well, gents, anybody else want to comment on this while I try and rustle Joe back up?
It also makes me wonder, too, if that's the coax on the tank, are they trying to conserve ammo?
yeah, that's what I was going to
There
say.
he is.
Is it a logistical thing?
Might be. Uh-oh, we halfway have Joe back.
I know.
I'm here. I was answering a question for somebody.
Oh, okay. We thought we lost you. We were concerned, but yeah, I think you're right. So what you're so this, in my opinion, this matches my theory. This is one of the like recently acquired, like probably a guy who went through his conscript thing, and then once his conscript thing was over, he was told, "Hey, you are volunteering."
Yes. Yeah. All right, let's carry on. Back to the festivities.
Okay. All right.
There's a big one.
this guy right here singed some hair on his homie. This was good.
So I was waiting. So what we did not hear is what you're supposed to hear, which is backblast, clear, and you're supposed to check. John, are you talking? Because I can't hear anything.
No, I was just.
Oh, okay,
lip-syncing.
you're just okay. Gotcha. We not only did we not hear that, what we heard was "Hey, John," and I'm pretty sure that was the cameraman yelling at this dude. Hey,
I
I'm
think he was
behind
trying to
you.
tell him, "Hey, don't blow my toupee off," and too late.
That was some very colorful language he used too.
So this does kind of confirm something that I was thinking. I think the heavy is coming from this direction, which I think this chat. I think you called it correctly. This does appear to be an L-shaped ambush.
It does. It does
Yeah.
look like it's shaped.
But that brings into further question: how are these motherfuckers not dead?
Yeah.
Training exercise. It's only thing I can do. But I honestly, when I watched it this afternoon, I was looking for BFAs, and there are no blank firing adapters. So
No, and I'm watching rounds impact around these guys.
Yeah.
You can see casings coming out, and it looks like live ammo. So
The
Yeah.
grace
what is
of
interesting
God.
is I have yet to see a tracer come from the tank.
True.
Which
Yeah.
is odd.
Well,
That
actually,
might just be the camera didn't catch it, but
I haven't
Yeah.
seen a tracer
Unlikely.
from anybody. Is Ukraine running a tracer load?
or logistics again.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
the
that's
resources are like.
Well,
Okay, so-
this illustrates why neither side is winning. This whole exchange tells
Like-
you why neither side is winning.
So
They're
right.
I'm gonna slow this down for us, guys. 50%, just because it's glorious.
Yeah, well, the rocket.
Can you imagine being the camera guy right now, and you see this guy pulling the rocket out? You know what he's fixing to do, and there's literally nothing you can do about it.
That's why he's yelling at him. Hey, hey.
John!
oh man.
For those of you in the chat and watching that don't understand, whenever you touch off a man-portable anti-tank rocket, there's a whole lot of crap that comes out the back side of it. And if you're within about 20 yards of it, it's very unpleasant.
Yeah.
That's a very kind way of putting it. No, I will say that some of the nice fancier ones, not the one he's using there, some of the nice fancier ones that Ukraine is getting, they have this thing that they use compressed air to get it at the first stage, and then it gets a little
Arm
further
burst,
on.
right?
But oof,
Yeah.
I'm pretty-
That's cool.
I
I
got
think
it.
this lucky that tree was there.
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
That's
There's
the
a lot
other
of
thing we'll get
cell phone-
into in a minute.
What's that, John?
So that's the other thing we'll get into in a minute. Just
Yeah.
the idea of firing anti-tank rockets in that kind of
Oh
thick
God,
woods without
Yeah.
an idea of a
it'll skip.
like specific target.
John,
Yeah,
it'll
those of
skip.
you in chat. This is not the environment for firing rockets. There are way too many trees and thick brush.
It'll
What
skip.
are you talking
Joe,
about?
what are you talking about? It'll skip. It'll skip. It'll be fine.
You know what it is he's shooting that rocket like he's in Wanted. He's just flinging it around the trees.
Well, actually, what's funny is you'll see if you watch the text on the bottom towards the end, they just start chucking rockets, right?
Oh, God.
And the guy goes, "It made sense because they didn't want to carry them anymore." Oh,
Yeah.
spend another $400,000 of my money because you were
Yikes.
sick of carrying them.
Right.
So by the way, we used to get the same excuses from the A&A about why they would fire RPGs at the beginning of patrols.
Literally the exact yes. Fuck.
They're heavy. I
See,
don't
my
want to
concern
carry
here
them.
with these trees is like what I was telling Joe earlier. So everybody's familiar with your, height over bore offset and everything. Well, if you lean out from behind one of those trees and you got a clear line of sight on your rifle sights, but your barrel's still behind the tree and you put one into the tree, and you might get a face full of bark. Could be unpleasant, not the end of the world. If you're leaning out from behind a tree with an anti-tank rocket and part of the barrel still pointing at the tree, it's a bit different.
Got a problem.
Just-
Life's a little more exciting. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Gents, we're only halfway through this stupid fucking
know.
video.
Look out! They're over there! They're over
They're over there. They're over there.
Still,
Great address
still,
command right there,
still.
right? Oh.
You know what? I respect this guy. I don't know who's shooting at him from over here, but I respect this guy. Just get away.
Yeah, Rocket Man's getting out of there.
Magazine!
He's in full Nike mode. Nope, I'm out.
They're all oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on just a second. I just got, I didn't have to tell you this, but I am. I just got delivered cookies. Haha.
Oh, bro.
I got delivered beer.
Good.
All right. This is 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this encounter, and we have officially seen our very first person go prone.
I want you to go back to him because he appears to be prone, praying to whoever it is he prays to.
Oh,
that he
yeah.
doesn't die.
Yeah,
He's not actually engaging a target. He's face down, prone. Go back. And I want to talk about this guy for a second anyway. So first of all, this guy, if you're going to go prone because his butt is way up in the air right now. And that is a surefire way to catch one in the deepest part of your body.
Oh, he's
No,
getting
look,
up.
he's not prone. He's not prone. Look at him.
Not prone.
He's literally on his knees leaning over.
Yeah, look, I hate to give the Ukrainians anything, but when he runs past the tree on the other side, that guy is prone, but Joe's right. He's praying to something. Because his rifle is out in front of him, like you're crawling under like a barbed wire or something in boot camp. And as soon as his cameraman here starts to get past about his feet, he sticks his ass up in the air and starts to get up.
So go back to where you can see his gear and stuff. So I want to talk about it. It's an important point that I wanted to bring up.
For sure, but while I'm doing that, I want to bring up a certain Ron Moeller sniping from the chat asking, was this filmed in the Malcolm Nance training complex?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes. Okay, so that right there. So if you look at this guy, first of all, your odds of surviving contact are improved by a factor of 10 if you look in the direction of the contact.
Oriented the wrong way.
So here's the other thing. He's wearing an extreme cold weather coat, if you can tell. The puffy coats, those are extreme cold weather gear. You should not be wearing that while moving, because you're going to sweat
and die.
You'll notice he's going to stand up and all of his gear is tangled up amongst that coat. And that's why we don't wear things unzipped. He has it unzipped because he's too hot. All of his gear gets tangled on it. You're going to see him have to rearrange everything. But here's my point. They had obviously already dumped their rucks because they knew they were about to come into contact. You should have dumped the heavy extreme cold weather jacket or at least zipped it up. You don't wear these while moving because they actually make you colder. You're going to start walking. You're going to start sweating. You're going to unzip the coat. The cold air is going to come in, hit that sweat, and you're going to be colder than if you weren't wearing a jacket. Just don't wear the jacket.
Yeah, if you feel the intense need, wear a sweatshirt. It's not good either, but it's
And
better
are
than
those
that.
earmuffs helping him out?
Did I just... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just noticed something else too. If I'm looking at it right,
did you just notice what I just noticed? That he's got two separate he's got magazines for two different rifles.
Yeah, there's that. But he's got ear pro, but it looks like it's up on his helmet, not on his ear. So let me point this out because this is a pet peeve of mine. Everybody wants to talk about wearing ear pro because it's such a thing when you're kicking doors and CQBing and square ranging. If you come down to the deep south, June, July, August, September, and go out in my terrain and try to wear full-blown earmuffs, you will not wear it very long because the sides of your head will feel like the third level of Hades.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Here's my thing. And a lot of people say, oh, you get hearing damage in combat. No, you get hearing damage on the range. In combat, your body does weird things, and it shuts out what you don't need, and it lets you hear what you need to hear. I get a lot of flack from guys about this, but on patrolling, I wouldn't wear those things. I'm just saying.
No, I do not know a single Marine who wore ear pro in combat. That's not a thing.
I'm going to run a molded earpiece inside my ear. It's going to cut down on half of the loud noise, and I'm going to be able to hear my boys talking to me, but I'm not wearing those bad boys. I'm not wearing cans. I've got them, but I'm not going to wear them.
Yeah, I mean, we kept earplugs handy somewhere so that if there was a lull in the fight at some point, you could stick a couple of earplugs in your ear and go on. But
you don't start them. You don't start them with your ear pro on your head.
You know,
No.
I'm not sure brought it up, but the two single pouches, those single pouches right there, they appear to have Kydex inserts. Those are for emergency reloads. You keep one there. I don't know why he has two there. And if you're going to keep them as emergency reloads, you don't leave that cord over the top.
Look, and I might be wrong, but whatever round that is appears to be significantly longer than whatever round that is.
Yeah,
I think this guy's got a scar, if I remember correctly. He's got a scar. I can't remember if it's a 16 or 17, but that looks like he's got a 308 or 7.62 by 5.4 mag in the back, and then a 5.56 mag in the front.
So are we sending them out with two separate rifles now? Is that
well? That might be in Ukraine because these International Legion guys are pretty much using what they bring. So, I don't know, but it looks like he's got one AK and one AR mag to me.
Yeah.
Or that might even be
unless so the 5.56 mag could be for the scar that he's carrying. The 7.62 mag could be for another rifle that he left back with his rook. Maybe he's designated marker or something.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, just spitballing.
Although he might have his jacket over a rook too. I don't
hold on a minute. I'm gonna discount the DMR idea.
That's a suspicious looking bulge. Does he have his ruck on?
It might be that or just a camelback. But hold on a minute. Are we suggesting that the guy who is regularly carrying a 5.56 rifle of whatever variety is also the guy carrying a rocket launcher and the designated marksman?
So Don, you were here for the last video, right? Like you saw like, the medic carrying 3 rocket launchers and 2 backpacks.
The thing about this is, even when we try to make excuses for them, it just makes them worse.
No, it's factual.
Yeah, the explanations do add to the complexity, don't it?
Look, his morale patches are on point. He's got them all.
Yeah,
that is true.
Well, no,
you can't fault him for that.
I didn't see a resistor logo in there. I didn't see a future conflict badge in there.
Whoa. We don't want to be associated with these cats.
Yeah, right. Are you serious?
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna get the moto patches, get the good ones.
Over there! 11 o'clock!
We finally have a direction, but yes, you are correct. That's not.
It's not where they are.
Oh, that's not where they are at all.
You know what? I think he was calling that it was tea time. It's 11 o'clock.
Well, based on what's about to happen, that might actually be highly accurate. It's 11sies.
Look at them running in front of each other. Oh.
Just constantly.
Hey, is that not the best warrior stance you have ever seen in your life?
First of all,
I don't know that my ankle can turn like that.
I was just going to say, that looks physically impossible, right?
You know, actually what it is, ankle. That is the Oppum from Saving Private Ryan stance.
Oppum. So is he actually striking anything? And my man has his cargo pockets full. But I mean,
he does.
Is he striking anything, shooting it with that platform? It's not very stable. It's not very accurate. And he's standing up again, by the way, while people are shooting him.
I have to say it because you said it. You know that's full of pogey bait, right? Like,
Just
so everyone here is very clear.
Probably with his backpack too.
All right, Watcher, you're gonna have to
hands off my jack link.
Pokey bait is
Okay, pokey bait would be any of the regular stuff that you'd get at the commissary. Oh yeah, we're old enough. I'm sure all of us have a little bit of pokey bait around us right now. Some fat pills. All the stuff that you can get back at the commissary that all little admin rats that like to hang out on base seem to constantly have on them at all times. But if you ever need to summon a pogue,
like edible crayons,
leave out some pogey bait and wait about 5 minutes. And an abundance will appear.
Hey, don't be knocking my jack links.
I was a pogue at one point. This is harsh.
All right, let's keep going. he was standing that way before he chose to step off to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And now the camera guy goes, wait, where did my cover go?
because he was. I just realized he was literally taking cover behind his dude.
I didn't even notice that, John. Good point. They were like literally up and again, no one threw a grenade.
Oh man, right. That dude hoofed it out of there right as rounds impacted at his feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this guy jumped right down into where those rounds are impacting just now.
That guy's still hiding behind a tree, standing up.
Standing is what I don't get.
Go back to the guy standing up in front of the tree. I want to point something out. Right here. So he's standing up. He thinks he's got cover. What do you notice about those trees he's got cover behind?
They're both dead as a freaking doornail.
Yeah.
And there's a gap between them where his back and his head is.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So
and
on the enemy side of cover, you can shoot him.
Hey, Joe, you
Yeah.
cannot shoot from his shoulder to his elbow.
Right. So he's probably good. He's probably good.
well, look,
And
I want to remind everyone, we're taking cover from a heavy machine gun. Trees are no longer cover.
No.
They haven't been for a minute and a half in this fight.
especially as small as these trees are, right? Maybe the one our cameraman's behind now, maybe, but the rest of these trees are not covered from a machine gun. And now we're almost 3 minutes in, and it's the first time the cameraman goes prone.
That last kick of going prone blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and I want to remind everyone, he just went prone right where we saw rounds impacting. Like literally seconds after we saw rounds impacting there.
Well,
I mean-
the point that I wanted to raise and I forgot to is he was kneeling. He fired 3 shots and then went prone right where he fired those shots from. If you're going to fire shots, you move and get in another position. You don't fire.
Seriously,
I've been-
look, if you're in a position where you need to fire shots, I'm just going to throw this out there for everybody listening. As cool as the kneeling is, if you want to hit stuff, the prone is a conveniently more stable position to be shooting from.
by a factor of 10.
Right?
Absolutely.
Stop.
That guy's getting the lunch out. He's getting the lunch out of his backpack.
Stop. Not only that, but like, look, guys, we've entered a depression where if we go prone, we are fully in cover. And
man.
what do?
So that thing on the left between the 2 trees closest to the camera,
Yes.
that
Well, that's
thing right there is almost a fighting position.
Seriously, no. This is like in the spring when things get wet. This right here is a small pond. That's exactly what this is, right?
Right?
And
This
if you look
is
at the grade of the ground, they're below it, right? There is literally no way they could be shot if they get there. If you notice, the guy who's the farthest back and in the deepest cover is standing up.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Doc Venom for the win from the chat. He says I'm waiting for someone to stand up and yell index.
Nice.
Yeah, okay, stop. Here's another thing. Hey, remember their wonderful dispersion from the beginning of the video?
Oh yeah. It's gone.
And,
Huddled
I
together
wanna
for safety.
watch the guy over there by the tree. He's going to do a really fancy cross step. Y'all know how I feel about the cross step, right? We don't do that.
Not if you want to live.
Not if you want to live.
Oh, and check this out. So the guy right there where you just pointed out with the cursor behind the tree,
Yeah.
if he shoots around the right side of this tree, all the
gonna
way over
pop
here,
this guy
no,
running.
the far right, far right. Which way is this dude over here coming?
Oh
He's
yeah.
coming. This guy on the far right over here is coming towards the camera guy. If dude over here on the left shoots from the right side of that tree,
Just begging to get smoked.
Well, the guy kneeling in front of him looks like he is shooting at that guy.
I think you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's
chat.
awful close.
Chat was confused because
angle-
I had
the
your
angle's
faces
hard
in
to-
front of them.
The angles are hard to see, obviously, because of a 2D video, but it sure looks close.
No, I agree.
He has it right. They're lollygagging around with no chain of command, no direction, and no plan.
Just haphazardly running around.
We're just spending ammo at this point.
So I'm gonna
Seriously though,
put your faces off for a second so they can watch this go down because this is bad.
in all of its
What are we doing over here? Are we repacking our fucking gear?
yes.
He's about to fire a round into the ground too. I don't know if it's him or the other guy. Somebody reloading
I
fires a round
think
into
it's
the
him
ground.
because I
It
think it's
is.
him because he has a glow belt on his elbow.
Hey,
he really
hey,
does.
hey! He was gonna cross a road later.
Yeah.
He was a road guard.
He's a road guard. That's right. Safety first.
Wait. I just realized what he was putting away.
The saw.
No.
Grenade
Is he
launcher.
putting away an MP5?
He was putting away a fucking grenade launcher, gents.
Grenade launcher.
One of those drummed, I don't know what they're called, one of those drummed grenade launchers. I can't remember what the ones we were just giving out
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
Why are they
Yeah.
not pumping?
Why
are
have-
empty bad
We
boys?
haven't seen a single fucking grenade this entire fight.
That was
You
the
had
first thing I thought of with that guy is why is he not laying there going thunk, 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 just a steady line of grenades going down range.
Well, it's
That
harder
is
to run away with that thing.
incredible.
Harder to run away with the thing in your hand, right?
I'm gonna.
True.
Oh my
I
god.
can't even.
Can we just replace the Ukrainian flag with a white flag now?
Oh god.
Well,
No,
that's not-
but there's the
that's a
thing.
lot of- But it's just not very good.
Well, hold on. Here's the thing. We're laughing at them because we could see the Ukrainians, but here's the point of this. The Russians caught these dudes in an L-shaped ambush, had them there for 2.5 minutes, and killed exactly not a single one of these motherfuckers. So the point is that this entire war is two retards trying to hump a doorknob.
Nice. But
He's not wrong.
They discharge his firearm into the ground.
But this, and don't forget in this video, most of the guys we're seeing aren't Ukrainians.
No, they're not. This is
Right.
this is a
Right.
They're
Reddit
Brits and
legend.
Americans.
Right.
They're Brits and Americans.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. From this footage, it appears that the men could not get a clear angle to fire at the tank, and also their cover was very.
Yeah.
I hate everyone. So I'm sorry. This is the point at which you're going through my course, and you just fucking failed, and I'm going to tear you a new asshole for the next 6 days.
If you look, see that depression behind them? They could have came up that and never been ambushed.
I could have
Oh,
hidden
man.
a battalion in that depression.
Right? Yeah, that whole area slopes down right there. I mean,
I
Yes.
also want to point out one of my pet peeves. Although I'm an older guy now, I still never do this. Look at how that guy's getting up out of the kneeling position. What's on the ground? His hand. His firing hand.
Every time.
You should be able to get up off the ground without pushing yourself with your
Look.
hand.
Even if you can't, all right. Conveniently,
You
God
like
gave
that.
you 2. All right.
Right. Man.
I mean, at least he finally gave the command to fall back.
Now,
Yeah.
I've been listening for it.
Not sure
a-
where, but
as a person who worked many years in the pits of a rifle range, I have a very finely tuned sense of the sound of rounds coming past my head, and that was the very first time I heard it in this whole video.
Yeah, the snap. Yeah.
Yup.
Though, look, to be fair to the Russians, they might have just not been shooting at camera guy till now. And as previously mentioned, 3 minutes ago, they had decent dispersion, and now all of them are in something
Oh, yeah.
roughly the size of a Honda Civic.
Well, basically, they're all in roughly the cone of that Dishka from that range, essentially.
They're all
Legit.
within grenade range. Of each other.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's another thing is as he panned to the left, all right, and I noticed this when I looked at the video earlier too, is that there is a road that evidently it looks like they have been paralleling.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, they've been paralleling a danger area. It looks like the whole patrol,
Yep.
or at least a part of it. So you wonder if they wonder how they got spotted. Well, I mean, that you parallel a road, you can be seen from.
You know what this is they read like some of the SOG books or watched some of the podcasts about SOG, and they heard about that guy Dick, whatever his name is, Meadows, right? That took a picture of a tank from like 20 feet away. And they were like, "Oh man, you can just stand 20 feet from a tank and no one will notice you." Forgetting, of course, that this is not Vietnam.
As they were planning their route, as Noel pointed out, all right, we're going to parallel this road. We've got two options. One, there's a slight depression below the crest of this little hill here, where we would be completely concealed, or we can walk into sparse woods at the same level as the trench line.
Or
Let's take the easy route.
or we could parallel this road and try and leapfrog between trees.
Right.
That's silly.
Is anyone else as surprised as I am that you haven't seen an HE round from that tank impact somewhere in the area yet?
Yes,
Hey,
I'm surprised about that, but the bigger thing I'm surprised about is I have not heard a single casualty. There has not been a single casualty in this video. Joe, you're muted.
No, I'm not. You're muted. Yeah, there's no single casualty. But how about this? It's a Russian trench line. One of their favorite weapons to employ in a trench line against dismounted infantry coming at you is an AGS-17, the equivalent to our Mark 19. I
was just thinking the same thing.
Popping grenades at them. So weird.
That might also be a logistics problem, though, which, by the way, speaks to the doorknob question from earlier.
Thank you.
Yes. Watcher. All right, Graham.
Mate.
Stop. Are we just fucking diddy popping around now?
I told you.
Oi, mate.
They set up a smoke pit in a
Boys.
gunfight.
Oi, mate.
Group hug. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna make it, bro. We're gonna make it.
It just gets worse, by the way, because they just keep getting closer together.
Is this
more?
Like, if we already hit combat fatigue at this point, if their brains already just essentially melted to mush, and now they're like, oh.
Stoli in the chat says, where'd it go? Well, they saw homie put away the 40mm revolver. Clearly, the Russians knew and agreed to a grenade truce.
Oh, God.
There's your answer. And for those of you watching, at this point, with what you've already seen, I would like to recommend this right here, especially that part.
Hold on, let me make you big. There you go.
See?
Oh, thanks, Rick.
Scouting and patrolling. Agreed. That's the
nice.
book.
I'm just saying, shameless plug.
yeah.
Shameless plug.
Say, you see what happened on this? You must.
Stop. What? Again?
Cell phone. He's on a cell phone.
Oh, that's a mag. He's handing him a mag.
He's handing him a bag over his shoulder as he takes cover behind him.
Holy moly! Is he out of ammo already?
Read the bottom text.
Straight.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Text.
Hold up. At least they were able to collect. Oh no, stop. At least they were able to collect valuable intel from their opponents. Real straight and spotted a high value target.
You know what the best
further
intelligence,
operations.
the best intel they discovered is that those Russians can't shoot.
Yeah.
You know what?
So-
Is that what this is? Like, are the Reddit Legion essentially just strength testers? Like, oh, they came back. Now we attack that line tomorrow.
So again, I told this to Joe earlier. Go back to the previous video that you guys did. The little village that was supposed to be empty that wasn't, the trench line that was supposed to be full of troops that wasn't, the area that was supposed to be clear of Russians but clearly wasn't, and now they're expecting, what was it, like 10 or 15 people, and now they say they run into 50 or 60 plus a tank. And like, what kind of bad intel are these foreign fighters being given by the Ukrainians? Because boy, it's bad. And they've collected valuable intel. The valuable intel is that their regular intel ain't no good.
I'm going to send these 12 guys against 60. Let's see what happens.
You know what, by the way, to answer an original question of, I don't know, probably stream 20 or 30 minutes back, but video wise, it's like maybe 2 minutes. How are these guys not all dead? I think the answer is the point guy walked into the L-shaped ambush, and instead of waiting for the rest of the patrol to get in there, the Russians lit him up immediately.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
But they
if they hadn't jumped the gun, if they hadn't jumped the gun and they were in a big long line in the middle of that L and they opened up like 30 feet away,
that would have been bad.
It would have been really rough. Or the Russians were like, watch these guys. This is fun.
You know what?
As we are.
We can't rule out that the Russians aren't just toying with them here. They're just like shooting off to the sides, making and kind of corralling them where they want them to go.
What you can't hear in the video is the guys on the Russian side going for the memes.
Well, that's why we haven't heard any rounds flying overhead yet. They're shooting off to the sides, just kind of steering them and directing them where they want them to go.
Can we herd them like cattle?
There's another thing that, so if the L-shaped ambush, it may have been on the road, okay? But when you put an L-shaped ambush up, because you're going to ambush a moving patrol, right? So then maybe it's even worse than we think. Is that these guys actually got compromised while they were moving, and the guys ahead put a hasty L-shaped ambush up. Maybe that's why they don't have the volume of fire.
Oh my God. This is just an opposing Russian patrol. There's no tank. They just ran over and set up a hasty L.
But what's the heavy that we're what would the heavy be that we'd be hearing in that case?
The Dushka is. Well, there's not a man-portable.
I was going to say, like, not outside of the meme.
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
What happened is in that same line, there is a trench line out here, right? So there's the trench line, and then there's the patrol.
Oh, yeah. So the patrol is just stepping off.
Oh, you might be right.
The trench line is firing, right?
I was wondering too, could the GoPro be distorting the sound and it be something more like a PKM, but the rate of fire sounds too slow for a PKM.
Yeah. And the PKM doesn't sound that much different. I mean, it's a little throatier, but not that much.
The rate of fire is too slow.
Yeah,
I agree with you. More like a Kishka.
It doesn't sound like a Cord, Peter. Like I appreciate that they have those. I'm just saying that it sounds a little. It's got a little more bass to it.
Yeah.
Getting like over there, but it's bushes, mate. You ain't got to be able to do it.
Wait. Once again, excellent direction over there in those bushes, mate. Just excellent. I hope
that
this is the
narrows
guy.
it down.
Hey, look, thankfully they're not in the middle of a forest and are out in the desert, so there's only like one bush in 1,000 miles.
Well, you know, all I'm saying is I hope this is the guy that they toss on their one hand cranked radio that's at the bottom of somebody's pack right now in order to call for fire support, and he can just be like, over in them bushes right there, mate.
By them bushes, mate.
In the bush by the tree.
Oi, you with the cannons, give me the fires near me.
Hone in on my signal. We're just going in random direction.
What are we doing now? What are we doing now? Does anyone have any idea what anyone's doing now? Are we just kind of
clearly no direction? No one is doing anything of any value. They're all just kind of wandering around. And I think a couple of guys go up to pop off some rockets and then run.
Hey, look.
Well, they should be. They should be.
You need to understand that this is the Union authorized break in combat. They are establishing the Union mandated smoke pit. All right.
Tea time.
No! 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 Who saw it? Who saw it?
Which one?
Okay, hold on. We're going back and watch right here.
Is that the guy with the negligent discharge?
Yes.
On the ground?
Oh,
Yeah,
why
that
does
Hula guy.
right after his friend runs by too?
And then drops
Against
the mag.
both the AR and the AK, will fire with no magazine in. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Right.
And who is he firing at with that dude standing directly the fuck in front of him?
None. It was a negligent discharge while he was reloading.
Is anybody getting a head count? Do they know if maybe somebody got hit in the dome and just went down without screaming, right? Do they know how their teammates are doing on ammo at this point?
Look at that dude in front of him. He appears to be aiming up into the trees.
Right.
Well, isn't there another guy just to the right of that guy?
Yeah.
No,
over
any
there.
further ahead, right there.
Down, yeah.
Hey, Josh! Josh!
Somebody dropped a rocket tube in the middle of the woods.
Say again?
What?
There's a rocket tube laying on the ground right there.
Yeah, there is.
They didn't want to carry it anymore, Joe.
I'm going to tell him to pick it up.
Stop! Stop! He is stop! Oh my fucking god! He is walking around with a tube on his shoulder, holding the fucking firing mechanism, pointing it at the goddamn ground at his friend's feet. How the fuck is a single person still alive?
Oh, come on, Watcher. What's the worst that could happen?
And look, Big Mac
Watch.
still has his food. He's still got
Watch
his pack of
this.
food on.
Watch this. This is why I picked this for the thumbnail, by the way, in case anyone was curious. This is a live tube. He is holding it by the firing mechanism. That is the business end. Was that an explosion right there?
Yeah. No, I think it's the guy firing out. That's the back.
Yeah.
Despite that I was
some more backblast without any backblast check.
Okay.
despite that I was like near dying. With homeboy flagging people with rocket launchers.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I once went shooting with a good friend of mine who pointed like a 22 at my foot out of just raw like negligence. So I grabbed it and told him I would knock him the fuck out if he ever pointed a fucking weapon at my legs again.
With it. Yeah. Yes.
I can't. Homeboy should have just been like, you know what? No.
Yeah, no, like flat out. We're in combat. You point a rocket launcher at my feet while you're holding the fucking firing mechanism. I'm putting one in your tee box. That's
Right?
not
'Cause,
even
like, look-
that is self-defense.
If I shoot you, only one of us dies.
God
This is
damn.
a 50% improvement from what you're about to do.
You notice too, like these guys are just walking around like they're on a Sunday stroll.
Yeah.
No tactical movement, no use of cover. Hey man, let's just stroll up here and before we leave, let's just fire off all these rockets. It'll be cool.
Oh, man. You know, it's funny because Joe has said this a couple times now, and I feel like for some of you who haven't seen the video, you think he's kidding or exaggerating. He is not.
Watch the bottom scroll. It's going to say that's literally what they did.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. The heavy use of AT launchers made sense in this situation. Oh, did it? Since it,
No, it did not.
No, it did not. Since it signalized, that's not a fucking word. Signalized
all right,
that
hold
they were
on.
capable to counter armored vehicles. Not anymore, they're not, because they just fired off all their fucking AT.
So you can't be upset that people retarded enough to have made this video and then published it have only misspelled a word now.
No, that's
really
not misspelling a word. That's not
I'm sorry,
misspelling a word.
made up
That is
a word.
that is fabricating out of whole cloth.
Firing the rockets effectively decreased the weight they had to carry. Listen, that's the most moronic argument I've ever heard. you carry rockets for a reason. Right? What's going to happen when they get 5 minutes down the road and a Russian APC has rolled up in front of them to cut them off, and they don't have any rockets left?
Look,
Nothing good.
Diatic is asking as a stage. Diatica, we've been arguing that with ourselves this entire video, and here's what I'm going to say. I no longer think it's staged because I've seen enough rounds flying up from around dudes and I've heard a couple whizzes now that no, like they're getting shot at for real.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, they blew the hell out of some trees. Yeah, these guys are lumberjacks. That's what they are.
Look, to be fair, by the way, dear chat, I will not rule out Wag the Dog.
Right.
All right, it could be.
It could be.
staged.
Oh, it absolutely could have been. Like, this could have been staged in a more upscale way, where they've got operators out there shooting at them so they can get a good video. But
Right.
But it doesn't seem like they're really getting their money's worth out of this. If the
And
point
some
was
of the
to
hits
show
are
off the
pretty cool.
brave, strong, well-trained Ukrainian military,
If I was going to stage a video, it'd probably be a little bit better than this.
Right?
And I wouldn't have a negligent discharge smack in the middle of it.
Chad brings up a great point. If our buddies get hit by a heat round, we won't have to carry them.
well, yeah. Obviously.
Oh, here we go. They were hoping to TikTok dance battle for control of the town.
Well,
That's it.
I mean, Ukraine would have a solid shot if that was this contest. Let's
True. You know, that Pikachu broad, you deploy the Pikachu broad, you'll be doing all right.
Hey, I can't even falter because Ukrainian cam girl's going to Ukrainian cam.
I was gonna
It's a
say
fact.
they have one skill. What you put a carpenter in a place, expect some shit to get built, right?
Hey, Greg!
Oi, Greg, stop.
Do
you see
yeah,
this?
Greg, why did you set your rifle down, Greg?
What?
Hey,
they're
look.
they're all literally in a single machine gun funnel right now.
Who has ever needed a rifle in combat, Joe? Come on.
I mean, seriously, guys, if you take nothing else away from this, take this. You're in heavy contact. Don't lean your rifle up against a tree and do whatever it is he's doing right now.
Well,
Seriously.
I'm gonna
Legit.
say I'm gonna say the worst. If you're the guy carrying a grenade launcher, maybe do put down your fucking rifle. But then don't just use the fucking grenade launcher as a fashion accessory.
Well,
By all means, throw
Well,
that
why
fucking
does that-
rifle and just.
Oh man, the rifle has a sling for a reason. Don't
Right?
set it on it.
Right.
Okay, let's do this.
Hey, come on! Who's that there? You're gonna get back.
Look,
Oh, you're
he's
gonna
like-
get backblast? No, we're worried about it at this point.
Look right there. You can see impact in a tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah.
to be fair to cameraman, he probably learned that on this patrol.
He almost died. And look
Okay.
at Mobile here, doesn't even have his gun on the fire or his hand on the fire control on his gun.
Apparently, they were also not wanting to carry home all those rounds
Right.
because the volume
Just
of fire
bagged
that we were
up.
lacking for the entire rest of the fight that we desperately needed. Now we've got it.
Well, the Russians were like, "Oh, they're leaving. Let me lay some more down on them then."
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that dog fuck.
Welcome.
You know what? I blame part of this on the Russians because if they had been using tracers, at least when tracers are coming at you, you know you might die.
Yeah.
Right?
That's unironically true. Also, by the way, I'm switching sides of who everyone is going to decide I support because I don't support any of these people. But I am unironically pro-Ukrainian now because the Russians just won't kill them, so I don't have to watch these videos.
Right?
Right?
Did you at least kill a couple of them?
Hey, whoa, kids,
Just
look.
remember, those weren't Ukrainians.
Oh yeah, they weren't Ukrainians.
And do you know how you could tell beyond the accents and everything else? Like this should have been the clue from the very beginning. There was
English?
no dog shit electro folk music over the top of that.
That's true. If they were Ukrainians, there would have been Ukrainian house music playing.
Oh man.
Oh, so this is the second video we've seen coming out from the International Legion, where they just, in opposition to the will of God, apparently, have survived. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I really cannot imagine why these people have not been killed if this is a real war.
Yeah, right.
How would you? You know what else I can't imagine? How would you post that video? What? Stop!
Oh, man.
Like imagine that you lived through that and you took that video. Are you showing that to anyone ever?
Here's the thing. Everyone on this panel is a veteran, right? Everyone on this panel has been through training. Everyone here knows what's going on. But if you're a flannel mafia guy who's spent your life watching T-Rex arms and some of these other guys running around, he's the only one I'll say out loud because I can't stand that kid. But you see these guys running around doing these ridiculous things on video. You actually think that looks good. It does not. So
No.
Exactly
So,
right.
all right. I don't know about John. I missed his intro, but there's a decent chance, by the way, that I am the most Pogue guy on this panel.
no, yeah, you are.
And this video is here because somebody sent it to me, and I went, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
And then Don said it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to do a video."
Oh, I sent it. You can look at the length of the video, and that's
Yeah.
exactly how long it took from the time I sent it to Joe to the time he messaged back. Oh yeah, we're doing this live.
Yep.
Yeah, we are doing this live. Oh man, I mean, seriously, what I want to do with these videos is we're having a great time talking about it, but I also want people to realize that when you see these videos, and a lot of people are sharing them around, they think the war porn is cool. This is bad. If you attempt any of this, you're going to die. Like they presented that last video that we watched a couple weeks ago as this is how you conduct a patrol, and no, it is not the way you conduct a patrol. That is the way you die.
Unless you happen to be an American leftist, in which case, yes, that is a training video. It is solid doctrine, and you should study every single second of it.
Dear NFAC, that is your Bible.
That is it.
So
To be fair, maybe we should leave them alone. They shoot themselves just standing in formation.
Well, okay, no, hold on, because we just went there, and I want to bring up something in chat. I want to. Peter Provenzano asks again, "Are we sure this isn't staged?" No, we're not sure one way or the other. But I'll tell you one thing: even if this was staged, it's a fucking miracle no one died. It's an absolute fucking miracle no one died, even if this was staged.
Well, even if it was,
oh, go ahead.
even if it was staged, they obviously didn't know what they were doing anyhow.
Yeah,
You know, you got to rehearse it.
I would have staged a far better video. Yeah.
I'm just kind of, floored myself that, so these guys are out there, they're looking for something. All right. So they're looking for it, looking for this, what was it, like a 8 to 10 man trench line or whatever. And then, but they're doing it in broad daylight. They obviously just stumble on this road that compromises them. I mean, it appears as though they've had absolutely no training at all from anybody. I mean, I don't even know what type of formation they were in. I couldn't even tell. It's just kind of funny.
It's like
let's just go out there and do something.
What's the formation that I didn't remember the name of last time?
Staggered column.
Thank you. So they're basically
say
in a
staggered
staggered
column.
column through the trees.
Oh, like a staggered ranger file, I guess.
Yes,
Is that,
it's
like
the
if you were
dumbest
doing an
shit
admin
imaginable.
well, so that's
They're
why
them.
they could. That's why they had no chance of firing and maneuvering. I mean, that's a nighttime, formation generally, for command and control.
No, that is a moving people around on Camp Pendleton where no one's ever going to be shooting at you formation. That is
That's the 25-mile hump formation. It's not a thing in actual combat.
Or the only place I can think that it would be legit is in like just ridiculously thick terrain where you legitimately can't physically move or see anywhere. Not in that kind of open forest.
yeah.
Well, so I'm going to bring the point up in a second.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah.
Or in an urban environment where you have no choice. You have street.
Where you're on a road and that's it.
So I'm going to point out, though, that whenever the Russians at the beginning, the Ukrainian Marines were pulling off, as I point out in my scouting and patrolling book you held up, the Russian Marines were pulling off a T-shaped ambush on the Russians every time they got into restricted terrain and dropped into a staggered column, like crossing a bridge or coming out of a ravine. The Ukrainian Marines were up there and just laying into them because they were in a staggered column and they had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And you just gotta, you gotta
know what?
avoid.
Branding Gladwin brings up a what I think is probably the most likely scenario for how these gentlemen survived, and I'm shocked I didn't think of it first. He says he doesn't think that the Russian element was originally engaging the patrol that we saw. He thinks that it's just he thinks that it was just a miracle that they were there and didn't get hit. They were probably engaging a different element until later in the fight when they were like, "Hey, wait, there's dudes close to us shooting. Let's get them instead."
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, it could be, we can't rule out, it could be just a complete combination of incompetence on both sides.
Yes.
Because the Russian side could have been completely as incompetent as the Legion side, and hence the absolute just whatever it was we watched.
Yeah, the Legion's attracting a certain quality of people, and it's not combat veterans, despite what they tell you, right? It's guys who joined the military and didn't make it through. Even our boy Civdiv didn't make it. I mean, he did do some deployment time, but he did not get an honorable discharge and didn't make it all the way through. I think he ended up with an other than honorable at some point. So it's not attracting the best of the best, right? It's attracting guys who joined, say, the British Army and were an admin clerk and always wanted to be something different.
So I will contradict you there. I know for a fact that there is a MARSOC guy regularly headed to Ukraine.
Really?
There's a couple of them, but that's not the. I will say that I've seen a sprinkling of some advanced guys, but it's mostly.
Yeah.
The majority is exactly what Joe's saying.
That
So-
third Nardiv guy we saw 2 weeks ago wasn't exactly
God.
tier
Oh.
dude.
So there. Do we all
too many of the real legit dudes?
do we
Go
all
ahead.
know who Sean Ryan is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he talks to the guy that the MARSOC dude that's going to Ukraine a couple of times. And I don't even in the world of even US guys who have to know what they're doing, everything around this war is amateur hour. He brings this guy back, and this guy's got video of like, yeah, so I went these places and I did these things. And it's not like what you would expect when I say that from someone who knows what they're doing. Like, oh, inside this building, see, we were doing this thing in this very cropped frame where you can't. No, he takes pictures of mountains in the background, and he's like, oh, so that building right there, that's where we're making munitions. And I'm like, okay, from just this image, how long is it going to take me to find it on Google? Like, he told me the city he was in.
Yeah.
So how long? And it was like less than 5 minutes. And I went, it's that building. Guaranteed it's that building. Now, I maintain being one asshole in the back room of my house. I am not Russian intelligence. You put the shit on the fucking internet. And what you just said is all of these local stores are indeed enemy combatants, right? It's not that they are, it's not like, oh, they're making warm weather clothing. Because like you could argue about whether or not that makes them. It was like, no, we're assembling munitions here. We're doing combat training here. And I was like, you have to know this is wrong. You have to. You're a Navy SEAL and a dude from MARSOC. How do I know this and you don't know this?
Well, and that's why when they say, oh, Russia's attacking this building, that they knocked out this restaurant. Well, we saw at the very beginning of the war, all these videos of every restaurant was making Molotov cocktails in the basement. Well, that makes you a combatant and a legitimate target.
Yes.
It's a weapons factory. There was one where the school was being used to make camouflage nets. Well, you just put all those children at risk because camouflage nets are combat equipment, and therefore you are a legitimate target.
Yes.
You have to be careful about the buildings you use.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You know what shocks me is that even if these guys that are going over are fucking admins and fucking, just fucking cooks and shit, right? Like, how do they not, like, in the Marine Corps at least, everyone's a rifleman, right? And so the question is, like, That third Mardiv guy, how do you agree to captain a patrol and go out, be a fucking squad leader, go out on a patrol, and you don't bring a fucking radio? I flat out, like, that's a no. That's a
They went on a recon patrol and brought a single pair of binoculars.
I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of this. It just doesn't fucking add up.
Well, the other thing is that you spend a day or so together and you work on your SOPs, you work on, reaction to ambushes, you work on movement, you work on all these things. I mean, heck, this Ranger handbook, it's all you need. You read it and you apply it,
Or even better, I know a guy who took the Ranger handbook and all these other things and condensed them down into one very convenient manual on scouting and patrolling. Vanna, can you hold that up for me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a guy that might specifically cut through all of the shit that civilians don't need and only includes the things that they do.
Like, and when you get these,
that's really all the
get this to go with it.
Yes, and you definitely need NC Scouts book to go with it.
So can I say that there is an explanation for some of this, right? Because a lot of what just got talked about is downtime before action, right? Like, this is, your training time is important, your SOPs are important, your moving together as a unit is important, you're like that the dude who works next to you, who you as often as not don't have to say, set, moving, move, you just go Bob, and he goes Roger, right, or whatever, right? And the two of you, I don't know, your balls rub together in space, and so you no longer have to communicate like everybody else. None of this happens if you're like E3 and below and like, bro, we could do this without all of this training crap. Maybe that's the explanation for a lot of this is Lance Corporal Fuck Knuckles wanted money.
Well, hey,
it's boring. Let's just get out there.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And here's the other thing. Has anybody seen, like, we've seen a bunch of these videos coming out of Ukraine on a squad level. Has anybody seen a single person acting like an NCO? Even one?
Well, I saw the team leader, that last one, flailing around over a sprained ankle, which he healed from miraculously 3 minutes later.
Oh, man.
John, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, if people actually comprehended, out of the literal hundreds of billions of dollars that we've sent over there, we should have been able to buy every single person that has anything to do with the Ukrainian military in any fashion whatsoever, one of these. Like, every one of them, we could have bought and sent one of these.
Look, man, I was saying this last time and I got slapped for it, but, like, you got money to buy every goddamn motherfucker on the line a can. Every single person has a can, but no one's got a radio.
So, did you guys see the British guy that is back in Britain talking about his time in Ukraine? Because he's talking about he was in a Vic, like, admin move of, like, they're moving, it sounds like about a whole company from one place to another, and 20 vehicle convoy or whatever, and out of the 20 vehicles, 2 of them just disappear. Conveniently, the gun truck and the ammo truck just vanish. And he's like, look, some of you might be saying these guys are not, they're conscripts at this point. They're people just standing up to defend their country. And I hear you. And maybe that would be possible. But you can't go 500 meters in Ukraine without hitting a checkpoint. And if you're driving a military vehicle, you're showing your ID at that checkpoint. They're asking you what you're doing and where you're going. It's 100% chance if you're in a military vehicle and you hit a checkpoint, they're asking you what you're doing. So where the hell did these 2 trucks go? The Ukrainians know, because all of those places have radios and they report up to higher. So, like, if you say you're traveling this line and you hit the next checkpoint, they go, yeah, I'm expecting you, kind of thing. And somehow, a couple $100,000 worth of weapons and ammo just vanished.
As an MP can confirm, right? Every truck moving along that route, when it's supposed to be at the next traffic control post for them to say, all right, everybody else has to wait. I got an ammo truck coming through that needs to get to the front. And that's not happening. And for the record, doing all of the maps we were doing earlier in the war, Ukraine is incredibly heavy on military police because they're an authoritarian state.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a 0% chance that no one knows where those ammo trucks went. Everyone knows where they went, and it wasn't to the front; it was to the docks to get sold.
Oh yeah.
And
Wow.
guys, we made some of here because we gave them some credit. We're assuming, they had really good equipment. I mean, they had the latest and greatest, had helmets and all that kind of stuff. We were assuming that they don't have radios. They may have radios. They may not use them. They just didn't break them out. We're assuming that they didn't have rucksacks on because they established an ORP and someone back there in the ORP. We're assuming that because the other guy that got up, the guy that had the hump on his back, he had a backpack on. So did he take 2 backpacks? So
like the Ukrainian medic from the last one.
Yeah, that's not out of the realm of possibility. In the last video, one guy was wearing 2 backpacks.
Their fucking medic had 2 backpacks and a rocket launcher. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He was wearing one on the front of his body and one on the back.
So chat brings up a great point that might explain this whole video. Any bets that they ran into other Ukrainians like the last video?
Shooting at each other. That's why nobody hit them. In that last video, they pointed out that one of their contacts was them running into their own people and shooting at each other.
Oh, no, you can't see it, but I'm making the PogChamp face because I think you're right.
Yeah, right.
A Legion unit runs into an actual Ukrainian line unit.
Yeah,
once again, because of bad intel
and no communication.
No comms.
There was another Brit guy who put out a video at the beginning of the war. They had been ambushed. They got separated from their unit. They were running back, and they ran into a Ukrainian military police checkpoint. And they got swooped up and arrested, and he couldn't believe it. And they're like, well, everybody else is in front of you fighting, and you are running. And he's like, well, yeah, we didn't expect to run into this. That goes to that. It was an admin guy who signed up for what he thought was going to be admin work and found himself face to face with Russians. And then he was all upset and offended and ended up somehow getting out of it and going back home because they accused him of being a coward and running from the enemy because he was a coward and ran from the enemy.
Accused.
Here's the thing a lot of these foreign fighters don't realize. When you go and join a foreign military, you joined a foreign military. So if they say you go that way, you go that way. You don't get to decide I'm not going. And if you say, well, I think I want to go home now. And they say, no, I don't think you're going home now. That's what's going to happen because you signed up for it. There was one American kid from Ohio who escaped and everything. And he was telling his story. And I'm betting he didn't realize it, but he was probably telling his story to a KGB agent who was videotaping it for the propaganda value of the American running away. But what most people don't tell you is that he came back here and got put on a plane right back because he's a fugitive in Ukraine. So
if you think the Biden admin's not extraditing you straight to Zelensky's lap, you're out of your mind.
When you sign up for things like this, it's for the duration, right? They might let you go back home on rotation like they're doing with Malcolm Nance and some of these others for the public relations value, but you're expected to return and remain for the duration.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, have you ever heard any guys talk about the French Foreign Legion and being a part of it?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Like, make no mistake.
That's a kick in the ass.
Those guys are hard and badass motherfuckers. On the other hand, that's because the French go that way until the enemy are dead.
Yep.
And if you turn around this way, you will be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, they took a page from the Russians at Stalingrad.
Yes.
Interesting note. Isn't that one of the only ways to become a French citizen from outside? To used to be one of the few ways to actually become a French citizen.
It is. You can pick your name. It's even cooler. I mean, if I wanted to change my name to Thor Thorensen, that'd be the way I could do it.
Right.
But alas, here I am. All right, guys. So I think we've kind of beat this to death. We'll be on the lookout for more of these videos to do some more things. We'll go around and I'll wrap it up with everyone. Now let's start with Don. Tell them where they can find you and what your next big thing is. Yours is waiting for someone else to email you, probably. I don't know.
Well, that might be the case. The long-standing reality is that I just show up when people call me. you say my name into the internet 3 times and I appear. But it's outside of that, the show is coming back 100%. I am wrapping up construction here on the property. Unforeseen problems aside, the show will be back probably sometime this month. Hopefully before Christmas would be good. In the meantime, you can find me at Helo Procurement on Twitter. Yeah, yes, Helo, Helo Procurement on Twitter. Yes, it's a Pinochet joke. Deal with it. Equally, you can find me at rumble.com/plebmedia, where the show will return at some point. Yes, chat, you have finally beaten down my I'm too goddamn tired to run a show. So I'm going to go back to running a show. It's just not going to be as often.
Nice. All right, Noel, where can I find you?
So I'm kind of out and about. I do have a YouTube site, Bishop 30 Solutions. Got some videos on there for firearms, so forth and so on. So if you want to look at a few videos, I don't got a lot of followers, so get my numbers up. That's about it.
All right, John.
Alpha Charlie Concepts is my YouTube channel and Rumble channels. UWGearInc.com's the website where I make gear at. No, I'm not taking orders right now because I am stupid far backlogged on orders and trying like a madman to try to get caught up. That's really the 2 biggest places to find me, and Alpha Charlie on YouTube. I mean, Twitter. Duh.
All right. So good stuff there. And you know what? You got to respect a man who admits that he sews for a living. So that's pretty. That's
right.
Pretty
My question is, can you do it?
No, not at all.
Yes, I hand all the sewing to the wife and go, sew this.
I trust that. It does not work nearly as well as you make it out to be. Watch it.
It all depends on how many Michael's gift cards you have that week. You can find me over at Watcher on the Web here on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. I've been putting out some content. I've got some kind of just fun content. The world's been kind of bleak, and I've been just kind of wanting to not necessarily disengage, but just for my own sanity, try and have some fun. So you could check that out over on my channel. I mostly try and keep, unless it's called Night Watch, it's mostly not going to be a political show. So I've got some stuff where I'm inviting some people to come over and play with an AI, where we let an AI GM a classic fantasy tabletop game for us. It's going to be kind of insane. So
pretty cool. And you also do the production for us on the Council on Future Conflict.
Council on Future Conflicts, the Privy Council. I'm going to be doing production for Pleb Media once they, or at least that's what he's asked me to do some, and then also here on Tactical Wisdom. Although I will say, if you're going to subscribe anywhere, go over to Future Conflict, subscribe over there. We're less than 50 away from hitting 3K, but hit him here, guys, because just so you're aware, I checked his back end today, and he is just 1,000 watch hours, I think, from being able to get monetized on the Tactical Wisdom channel, and you guys be able to start doing super chats. So share this out, get a bunch of people watching it. Should be a good time. Hit the like button. You know what I mean.
You're 1,000 watch hours from being able to get monetized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're gonna fix that.
I keep pushing it on my channel. I've told all 14,000+ of my subscribers that need to jump on your channel.
First, let's not act like being monetized means you're going to make lots of money.
No.
And second of all, my first video was struck within 30 minutes. So,
buddy.
Which is
Buddy,
funny.
I have good news. You're going to be able to hit X subscriber count and never move past it.
No. That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing. I checked in the background, and they didn't give him a community strike for it. What they did was
they just age restricted it.
Yeah, they moved it to 18+.
In their defense, there is a dude shooting another dude in the head in real life in it, but that we did our best to.
It was highly censored.
It was highly censored. But anyway, for me, guys, at DolioJ on Twitter, you can find me at tactical-wisdom.com. We do training courses. I write books. I write articles. There's all kinds of stuff there. And starting next week, I think we're going to have a locals community set up where there'll be a couple different levels, and there'll be different content that goes out based on that. A lot of it will be stuff like this, and a lot of it will be current event kind of stuff. And We might even throw some challenges up there, rucking challenges, fitness challenges, different things to get us all in a little bit more prepared state than we are today, because bad things are coming. This all presumes that the power remains on after Monday. We'll see what happens. There's some allegations that may not be the case. So we'll see. Thank you all for joining and watching us. Hit the like and subscribe on the way out. And hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow on the Council on Future Conflict. Take us out there.